What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Video Homicide, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the 2015 film The Green Room, directed by Jeremy Saulnier, starring Anton Yelchin and Patrick Stewart. This movie is fantastic, and I will say right from the jump here, if you've not watched it, I'm going to spoil it like a Christmas gift, okay? That's what I'll say. So you're fair warned. This movie is a fucking exploitation film. It's badass. It's got great acting all around. It's got great sets. It's got great atmosphere. Everything about this movie, I love. The dialogue is great. Like, just everything about it is so good. So The Green Room, if you've not seen it, or if you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I really enjoyed this flick. It's all about this traveling band that's like really kind of like not known at all, and they go from shitty venue to shitty venue, and they end up meeting this promoter who lets them crash, and he sends them to this shitty, super crappy diner where the payout is like $6 each. And he's like, well, no, I know my cousin that he knows this bar where you can go and play and you get like $350. You can be the headliners, all that kind of stuff. So they go. And before I move on to like when they get to this other place, I love the look of everyone in the movie. I love the promoter's look. I wish there was a guy that looked like that, like more throughout the film, like with the whole mohawk and like, the vest with like the little pieces of iron. I don't know what that's called, but I just really like that character's look and all of their looks. So they end up going to this like very neo-Nazi kind of place, skinheads, and they play at this, like everyone's very strict. It would seem like the guy that's sort of like not kind of running the show for the beginning part of the film. He's kind of like, are you using the house kit or are you using ours or are you using your own? And he's like, I'm using my own. And then, they're just kind of stern, like, you're on in 15 minutes, blah, 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 like just kind of being dicks and, being like what the stereotypical skinhead is, you know what I'm saying? So they end up going and playing their couple of songs or whatever, and a murder is witnessed, which is fucking awesome. And I love, like, the murderer of the girl has this amazing line where he goes up to Anton Yelchin's character and he says, what was the second to last song? And then Anton Yelchin says it and he goes, that's the one I did her to. And it's like, whoa, man, like it was such a heavy duty, brutal moment. I love it so much. And then Anton Yelchin and the band, they get locked into this green room over a course of events, and then Patrick Stewart, who's actually like the leader of this Nazi propaganda, whatever, movement, and he comes along and he's trying to like smooth everything over without getting himself in trouble. So there's a part where like the police are called, the police show up, but he stages this thing where two of these younger kids that are Nazis like stab each other, like on an understanding, like you're going to be in this gang for life kind of thing. You do this, you go to prison, you're going to be taken care of, all that kind of stuff. And one thing I liked about this movie is how, like, and this could be true in like neo-Nazi like culture, like red laces mean like you've shed blood. So like there's this whole thing where like Patrick Stewart will be like, get 6 guys over here, make sure they're all red laces, and you see a lot of red laces. A guy earns his red laces in this movie. But the thing about it, like to go a little bit deep on the film, if you know what I'm talking about, the character that gets his laces, doesn't he seem like he would have already had them? The way that, he was sort of like calling shots at this club or this bar. I don't know, man. I kind of didn't like that, but Anton Yelchin gets a very brutal scene where he gets his hand like caught in a door and they're like slicing it with razors, and like his wrist is like falling in half. It's like hanging on by strings. It's crazy. It's very brutal, but there's like I watched this movie with my dad, and like my dad kept saying like, what, like they could have left, and I was like, you're right, man. Like it's so like, get back in the green room. That's why I say it's an exploitation film, because it's called Green Room. They're in the green room like fucking 90% of the film, maybe not 90, maybe 75, but it's every time they go back in there, you're like, yeah, there they go, they're back in the fucking green room. And they find one of the characters, I believe the singer, he finds that there's like this source of light coming from the ground or the floor in the place, and it's kind of like the place where they load beer into the bar, like from like it has like a conveyor belt and that kind of stuff. But there's no way out, of course, and like I love how like every character gets fucked over in like a brutal way, especially by dogs. Like I love seeing dogs rip people apart in films, not in real life, but in films, because you usually get I don't think in this film you get one, but like a fake dog head. Like if you can get like the dog biting someone, it can even be a real dog and like they're just like playing, but like with the magic of movies they can make it look like he's attacking. Like I love seeing the dog's head and the person's head and the expression on the person's head and like the dog like ripping, you know what I mean? So the dog's like ripping, the guy's like ah, ah! Like I love that shit, man. I think it's so brutal. Like people getting mauled by animals in films to me are insane. Like obviously the big one is Quint in Jaws. When he gets eaten by the shark, like man, how fucking insane is that? And every scene where someone is killed in Jaws, I think is like insane. Like the guy that's in the boat that's like, you guys okay? Like that guy, like you see the fucking shark's head, like it's massive, and the little kid, what's his name? The Kittner, Alex Kittner. When Alex Kittner gets eaten, and like it's just like the shark comes out of the water, it's spinning around, all that, like brutal, man. But goddamn, I love Jaws. But anyways, back to Green Room. They eventually get out, but there's like this scene that is almost like the one scene that kills it for me. I know why it's there. I know why 50% of it is there. There's a scene where Anton Yelchin like shaves his head, but then like not only does he shave his head, which it doesn't show, but like his face is covered in marker, and same with the last remaining girl, like just like these marker streaks all over their face. Like I thought, why the marker? I get him shaving the head so we could blend in, but the marker is just like out to lunch, man. I loved Patrick Stewart's use of planning throughout the film, and like and like this whole thing about blades only, because like if there's any kind of like forensic people that come along, they can find like bullets wedged in the wall. So he even says, he's like, if you shoot anymore, you shoot once, and if you shoot again, you better be hitting something because you're gonna be digging out of the wall like that. I loved all that. It's very scary. There's a lot of crazy headshots in this film. Later on, when it's just Anton Yelchin and this girl who's unrelated to the band are left, they end up find that Patrick Stewart is setting their band up to make it look like they were siphoning gas, because that was something that was mentioned throughout the film, like, oh, we siphon gas kind of shit. So I really like that. And then like probably like the most sad scene in the film is when the dog, like there's this dog that gets let loose, and then like it's kind of just walking along like the highway, not so much a highway, but like if you've been up Northern Ontario, like one of those kind of roads, and then he finds like the owner, like the dog catcher kind of guy that's like the Nazi dude, and the dog just goes and like he walks past Anton Yelchin, he walks past the girl, and just goes and lays on his dead owner, who wasn't Patrick Stewart. There was a different character, but I really liked that shot. I thought it was great. It harkens to like those videos you see online where it's like, a person who's, it'll be like a video of like a dog like laying on a grave like crying. Like that's like the vibe you get, and you're like, dude, it's powerful shit, man. Cinema is a crazy thing. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Green Room. Would I classify it as an exploitation film? You're fucking right, and I did. I think it's great. It's like a very brutal real life horror kind of movie that involves like a punk band, and there's actually like I think maybe 2 or 3 songs they play throughout the film like live, and like the one was like really kind of just crazy, and like it's just cool to see a couple of really good slow motion effects or segments where it's in the mosh pit and like it's just going in slow motion and there's no sound or no sound that fits to what's happening on the screen. I really like when movies do that. Like the use of silence is always a trip out, especially, I know this isn't really a horror film, but when you're watching horror movies, man, and like you get like those quiet spots, like, like silence is like more powerful than noise. Like when you watch a horror movie, like the way they score it, it's like, what something scary is going to happen, because it's like, like I can't even do it, but I know you know what I'm talking about. Like it just is this very dramatic music, and then there's a huge build up, and there's either a false scare or there's an actual scare. But when they have nothing, it's just like, this is fucked. A lot of Japanese films do that kind of stuff. A lot of effective horror films of the 70s would pull shit like that off, and not just horror films, but like dramatic films, action films. It can be very useful. So I recommend using it. And that's pretty much all I have to say. So I hope everybody has a great day, great rest of 2021. you'll probably see a few more videos out by me, and hopefully everyone has a great, happy New Year, because we all need it. So that being said, adios. There's this really funny TikTok guy that me and Kayla have been watching, and he says his outro, mine's adios. I've been saying that for years, but this guy says, take care, brush your hair, and I just love that shit. So adios.